Good afternoon and welcome to Pifer's podcast. A big week here at Covington High School as the Covington boys basketball team gets ready for the Group 1A West Regional Tournament. The Cougars in action on Tuesday night at Eastside High School down in Coburn. My guest today is Cameron Pierce to my right, to my immediate left, Coach Garland Jefferson, and to my far left, KJ Moore. And Coach Jay, first of all, and I wanted to do some background for those young people that are not familiar with. For Coach Jay, 2 years here at Covington High School. I was a little bit behind him in school, but I remember lining up at the door to watch him play. 1,200 points in 2 years. Went on to a great ACC career at the University of Virginia. And Garland, I think of your career at UVA as being like the heyday of the ACC. The players that you played against and the coaches involved in the ACC then, from Coach Holland to Dean Smith to Lefty Driesell to Norm Sloan to just on and on and on. Just give me a thought about back in the day and the ACC, and had to be a huge experience for you.
Oh, it was a great experience. It's probably the best decision I ever made in my life was to attend the University of Virginia. First for academics, but also for athletics as far as basketball is concerned. And you're absolutely correct. Back in those days, the conference in the country was the ACC. If I remember correctly, at that time there were only like 7 schools in the ACC versus, 14 or 15 now. Right. And the old expression was, in order to win an ACC title, you had to go through Tobacco Road, which was Wake and State and Carolina and Duke. And it was tough hauling. It was some tough games, but I enjoyed it. We did have an NIT title at my last year, which was Ralph Sampson's first year. A lot of memories. Keep in contact with a lot of the guys still to this day. And so, as I said, one of the better decisions I've made in my life.
All right, let's get down to the business now. Your Covington Cougars qualifying for the regional. Let's talk about last year to this year and the transition it's been. Last year, a lot of seniors, a lot of quality players. I think 23 wins last year, school record. You go to same boat, lose to Radford in the conference final, and then go down to Honaker for a first-round game. There's no way you replace a Raekwon Matthews or just any of those kids that were Quentin Hunter, any of those kids that were on that team, but the transition has been, maybe a little rough in the start, but you guys here late in the year have been playing pretty good basketball, and now you're back to the same spot you were last year. That's a testament to these kids.
That's a true testament to these kids. They've worked hard since day one, and we have been trying to emphasize that every practice, every game up to this point is a learning experience. It's going to make us better, and so we always wanted to be better. Now, from this point forward, there are no more gimmies, and it's uphill. And so we're going to try to do the best that we can tonight and, see how it goes. I never would have thought that this group would have been able to achieve the level that they have achieved this year, considering what we had last year. But as I said before, and you've said, it's just a true testament to their courage. I mean, it took courage to get out there and play this year after the team last year. And so the coaching staff and myself especially love these kids to death and really appreciate all the things that they've done for us.
And we're talking about 1A basketball, the smallest classification in Virginia, but when you look at 1A West basketball, there's 3 teams that really stand out. And as I look at this 8-team field in this tournament, the first one being Radford, 23-1 on the year. Their only loss came to Martinsville, and they got revenge for that one. And you guys saw close up Friday what Radford's all about, and it's not been a secret. A program that Coach Cormody seems like he just reloads, and this year he gets a 6'8" exchange student to go with what he already had. So they're a quality team. Yet Georgia Wythe down in Wytheville, always tough, 22-2 this year, and their only losses came actually in Roanoke. They lost to William Byrd and Northside, 2 teams that are still alive in 3A and 4A. And then Honaker, who we know about from last year. This year, 26-0. Robinette, the big kid, went for 53 Saturday night in their conference championship. So As you said, no slouches from this point on, and those are three teams that are really expected to make a run at Richmond.
We've seen Honecker, like you said last year, the Robinette kid evidently has upped his game tremendously to come off with 53 points in a 32-minute game. I mean, that's tremendous. And then we've seen firsthand in the last 2 years how good Radford is. I believe their team this year is better than the team last year, even though they had a Division I basketball player, Jones, that went to Bucknell this year. And like you said, George With is always in the hunt. So like I said earlier, the kids, we're courageous, and we're going to go and do the best that we can, and we're just going to see what happens. Anything can happen.
All right, let's talk to the guys that really matter. You know, Coach, we can point them in the right direction, Coach, but we got to have them do it on the court, right?
That's right. Exactly right.
First of all, we will talk to a senior on the team, and that's Cameron Pearson. Cam, it's definitely, I'm sure, been an adjustment for you guys, the upperclassmen, you and Noah and the kid, Andrew Kidd. Just talk about maybe the transition from last year to this year. Last year you had Quentin and you had Raekwon, and this year now it's some of the young people that stepped up. What are maybe the differences in last year's team and this year's team?
Well, last year with Quentin and Ray and Shamar and all the seniors that we had a significant amount of ball handlers, and this year we had to kind of fill in with that with KJ and Keontae and Noah stepping up to handle the ball more, and just the little things that Ray and Quentin and Kashawn and Shamar, everybody did last year. A three-point specialist, a zone buster. You and Austin Douglas and some guys come in and try to get people out of a zone. Talk about maybe your role in this team and what you guys got to do tomorrow night. Well, me and Austin try to do whatever we can to get our shots off in the right places. You know, we wouldn't be able to do all of that without KJ and Noah and all of our big men that know how to get the ball inside and kick it back out to us. And we just got to try to do what we know how to do tomorrow night so we can come out on top of the win.
All right. And KJ, one of the new blood on the team, a sophomore. You know, you did have some experience last year, got called up at the end of the year, and I think you did play in the Honecker game. But talk about maybe stepping in this year and playing a major role on a varsity basketball team for the first time. I know you've been involved in some AAU stuff, so you've seen good competition. But maybe talk about your transition and playing at the varsity level.
It's a totally different game speed. Like, the competition's totally different. It's way harder. And the bigger guys on the inside, it's way harder to get inside. But the teammates this year helped me transition from JV to varsity, especially to help with the seniors, Cam Pierce, Noah, and the rest of the team. But without them, it'd be hard to transfer from JV to varsity.
Your game, trying to get to the basket. You're kind of a slasher, ball handler, trying to get to the basket. Talk about that, and maybe what's your comfort level? What do you want to do offensively?
I prefer driving to the hole, but when my dad keeps telling me to try to find my jump shot, like my sister, but I ain't that good of a shooter like she was.
Talk about playing for Dad, Keith, assistant coach, and I know you have played with him, you know, on the AAU circuit and all, but I know you guys are a close knit family with Simone being the big sister, and you got other brothers and sisters, but that's got to be kind of a special bond to play for your dad.
Yeah, it's God-given because most dads aren't even around, and my dad's given the time up to help me get better and try to make it to the next level.
Coach, you know, maybe give, you know, it was funny after the Auburn game where you qualified, you gave Keith some props for making a defensive change, and he's a, you know, I know how valuable a good assistant is and being a sounding board and offering ideas. Sometimes it's ideas we don't take, but sometimes it's ideas that we do. And talk about Keith, he stepped up and helped you in a major role this year.
Oh yeah, tremendous. You know, we wouldn't be here without Keith, and you know, Keith is a little bit younger than I am, and he's got a little more energy.
A little bit
more energy, yeah. And so I lean on Keith quite a bit. Recently, this last stretch of about 4 or 5 games, we really have come to work together and talk more. And like I said, you know, he made the suggestion to go to defense, man-to-man against Auburn the other night, and it was the correct call. And I trust him. I think he trusts me, and we're a good combination together. Also, we cannot forget, Jacob Grimes has been there helping the JV as well as varsity, and so Jacob brings a lot of insight. To be such a young guy, he brings a lot of insight into the game too. So I am blessed. I'm very fortunate to have both of those guys to help me.
Was there a turning point? At one point, you were 5-10. Since then, you won 6 of your last 8. Was there a turning point in the season? Was there a game? Was there a practice when all of a sudden maybe the young guys were saying, "Hey, this is, we can be a little bit better than this"? Was there ever a turning point, so to speak, in the season, a practice or a game?
Well, I think when we played Bath up there, it was an unexpected tough game, and we had to get down and dirty and grind it out. And that was the first time that we really were successful on the road against an opponent, that was at first beating their butts. And so after that, we gained a little confidence. We had to go up against Lee, I think, after that. But then the next game, the Perry McClure game here, was important also. And then we were able to stretch out some games down the stretch. The best game so far has been the Auburn game. It was a team effort. Everybody was into it. Everybody was engaged. We just hope that it's a carryover to tomorrow.
It's hard. The Virginia High School League seems like it changes playoff formats every year between state tournaments and regional tournaments and conferences and districts. But I'm going to talk about how it is this year, and it makes tomorrow or tonight's game very, very, very important at Eastside. The winners of the region quarterfinal games are assured a state berth. So if you win tonight, you're assured at least 3 more games: a game in the regional semis, a game in the regional finals or the consolation, and then a first-round state tournament berth. So the pressure of that regional, where it used to be the regional semifinal to go to the state tournament, now it's kind of trickled down, but it's brought that state quarterfinal round back in, and I was lucky enough to have coached in a couple of those in the Civic Center in a kind of a big-time atmosphere. So the quarterfinal coming back to the state tournament, that's a pretty cool thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like you said, it gives some other teams a chance. And I think, Coach Pifer, I think in the long run, it's about the experience that the kids are enjoying and experiencing that will, contribute to themselves in later on in life. I mean, like being on a big stage, being in front of people, whether you're giving a speech, whether you're making a presentation, or you're trying to make a free throw. All those things are this is just so important for later on in life.
All right, so that's the preview tonight. It's the Covington Cougars and Eastside. So tonight it's the Covington Cougars going to Eastside High School to take on the Spartans. Let's go over those other first-round matchups. Twin Valley is at George Wythe, Fort Chiswell is at Honaker, and J.I. Burton plays at Radford. The semifinals and finals of the region tournament are all set for Virginia High. That's in Bristol, Virginia, on Friday and Saturday. Again, thanks to Cam, to KJ, and to Coach Jefferson for their time. Until next week, this is Mark Pifer. Good luck to the Cougars tonight. Have a great evening.